Have you guys ever been so close to someone that you just stalk them and watch them sleep and watch them eat and just watch them go to work and do whatever it is they do? So before we get into this video, if you guys want to check out my feature film Pasted, you can. Links down in the description below. You can check it out on Blu-ray on Amazon, but also you can check out my link tree down below for all of my short films and all that stuff. You know, we're working on a new film called Rocky Wake, which I will have more news on soon. Trust me, you guys are gonna it's going to be cool. So I heard some rumblings about this film when it came out at Sundance. It came out, yeah, it did. It came out, yeah, came out during Sundance. I actually did get a Sundance screening. That was the 2,000 Meters to Andrivka. Two completely different movies, by the way. And Together centers around a couple that's basically having relationship problems. They end up moving into this house in a secluded area, and they stumble upon something. I don't want to say what it is because I didn't know whenever I watched it. People have done a really good job of like hiding what is going on in this film because I've not gotten anything spoiled for it at all. And I know whenever The Substance came out, there were a few people going like, "Oh, this happened and this happened," and you know, I was when I went into the body horror stuff, I was like, "Oh, I was expecting this," but for Together, no, I didn't get anything spoiled, and that's nice. But they stumble upon something, and whenever they go home, weird things start to happen to them. And the film is called Together, so you can kind of, guess what it is going on. The film is directed by Michael Shanks. I believe this is his directorial debut, and it stars Dave Franco and Allison Brie. It also has Damon Herriman. I believe that's how you say his name, Herriman. Yeah, he plays Charles Manson. I think he played it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and did he do it in Mindhunter as well? I'm not sure. Who knows? Pretty sure he did. The film is weird. If I had to compare it to something, so I would outright just completely compare the beginning of this film to The Thing. Specifically, I don't want to say any more than that because I do feel like I can get into spoiler territory if I describe what was going on, but it reminded me of that. But the film also, in a weird way, reminded me of Possession from Andrei Zulawski. Like, it's not as layered and it's not necessarily doing as much with the relationship as something like a Possession. And this is body horror, which Possession has like a little bit of that in it. But it reminds me of that tonally because you've got this couple, they're not doing so great, and I don't know, now that I think about it, they're pretty different. But that's what I compare it to. Not really anything else that I can compare it to. I mean, you could compare it to really any other body horror. Like, you compare it to, like, Cronenberg. You compare it to The Substance. I mean, if you want to compare it to a more recent film. But it really does sort of stand on its own. And the body horror looks pretty gnarly in this. Like, I will say, did the body horror bother me as much as other body horror has? No. There's been body horror that's bothered me like a lot. This film, I was able to watch it. There were only a few scenes where I was like, ugh, but I will say the body horror in this body horror, it can be subjective. Like, my wife was covering her face; she did not want to see what was going on. So you never know. There could be some things. There was one scene that made me. It's in a bathroom stall. I don't want to. If you've seen it, you know, you know. And yeah, it didn't really bother me like that, but I will say there's some body horror in this that's so impressive because it's one of those things where you think about it and you're like, oh, okay, this would be kind of interesting to see what is going on. Like if you could, like, what would happen if this happened? And you can't really imagine it in your mind. Like, you think you can, but you really can't. And then you see it happen and you're like, oh gosh, oh. And that's what Together is. Together does a really good job of it balances comedy, I think, in a pretty good way. Like, I feel like horror and comedy almost go hand in hand. Like, it's very rare that you watch a horror film these days that does not have a little bit of comedy in it. But at the same time, it is very much so trying to get under your skin, and it does that, and it does that pretty well. I honestly think there's scenes in the bed that kind of bothered me more than the actual body horror parts, but that's, again, it's all completely subjective. Together is just one of those good films that you can go watch, as a couple, or you can go see. It's honestly the perfect couples movie. Like, thinking about it, I mean, I think that it would be a really good couples movie, but also go see it with your friends. Go see it in a packed theater. That would probably be the way to go see this film. I mean, I'm excited to see what Michael Shanks does after this. I was, pleasantly surprised with the film. I mean, is it my favorite of the year? Probably not. Like, it's good. It it wasn't what I was expecting, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you look at it. But for me, I mean, it delivered body horror, and that's really all I can ask for. If you're asking for more than that, well, I don't know. What are you asking for then? But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe. As you can see, it is a mess. This might be the last video you see with this backdrop because we're moving. And I also got a new little mic. Do you like this? For some reason, it sounds better than my other mic that costs like $100, and this mic only costs like $6, so we're just going with it. Take it easy, guys.